can't imagine what it must be like to pick up a cheque that size, and you've done it for several years. What's your total in chairman's bonus? Any idea?
Roughly 5.134 million.
Roughly.
Sterling, not dollars.
It's
Sterling.
over $7 million.
$7 million, £5 million over the course of...
ever since it started, 16 years.
16 years. That is just staggering.
Yeah.
I said to Emma and Sean, if you'd taken yourself back some years and somebody'd said to you that was going to be the future,
No.
could never imagine it, could you?
I don't think you ever, when you first start out on the journey, certainly I can speak for us, our immediate need, if you like, was to make an extra couple of thousand a month, just to create some calmness in the home. We were
hemorrhaging money.
Yeah.
You know, we'd been repossessed. We were £23,000 in the hole to the bank. And there's only so many months you can carry on losing £900 a month.
Somebody knocks on the door too.
You know, and they probably take your kids into care to start off with. Yeah. And we thought, we can't let this happen, but what do we do about it? You know, it's easy to say we've got to do something, but we didn't know what to do.
And yet, you were hard-working people, and so many people must be in similar situations, which I guess is encouraging for us in the sense that there's lots and lots of people who can benefit from the opportunity that we had. So what was the connection originally? It was somebody that you knew?
Yeah, we had a phone call from a friend. Well,
somebody we met at a party.
We met at the party once.
Yeah.
And I guess you've heard a lot over the last few days that the fortune's in the follow-up.
Oh, yeah.
And we met him at a party. In fact, you tell the story, it's quite funny.
Well, it was interesting because we hadn't been able to afford to go out socially for a long time. And we suddenly got this call inviting us to a party in the Docklands. And we had to look up on the map where the Docklands was. And we said, shall we, shan't we, shall we, shan't we? So we went to the party, and it turned out to be a really terrible party. But there was a guy there who had flown in from Ireland. And, he was just another person. And he suddenly produced a can of instant hairspray, but not hairspray to control your hair, to grow your hair. So he sprayed it on my head and then combed my head. And within a couple of minutes, I looked like a Neanderthal with this hair all down. And I thought, it's a bit of floor show, entertainment, and thought nothing more of it. And then a few weeks later, the telephone rang. And this was the telephone ringing in the house that we'd moved into, having been repossessed from our main house. And the telephone was hidden somewhere under a pile of packing cases. So it was a bit of a scramble to find it. And there was this voice at the other end, you won't remember me, and he was absolutely dead right. But he said, I think I've found something that could be great for you. And just had a quick conversation, and the bottom line of it was, please lose my number.
Well, actually, at the time, we actually said no because we were going on holiday. We had a camping holiday with the kids. And so we actually said no at that first phone call. Yeah. And, there are moments, even now, when I think, what would our life be like if he hadn't have followed up a second time?
Like that film Sliding Doors, isn't it?
And so I think, for everybody in the room, the one thing I urge you to understand is that no is not no, it's just not today.
Yeah.
Because everybody has busy, crazy, hectic lives, and somebody rings up out of the blue, talks about an opportunity, you've got 99,000 other things on your mind, and you've got somebody saying, I've got a business, I've got a product, and you go, yeah, right. Where would we have been if he hadn't have followed up?
Is that close?
Yeah, that close.
Yeah.
And of course, at this time in the history of Forever UK, we were really not even started hardly, were we?
The only person I could identify who was doing anything was Chinese.
Yeah.
And I thought, great, you've got to be Chinese to be any good at it.
Yeah.
We didn't know any Chinese people at that time.
But we went and found one, and we thought, yippee, we made it, we found a Chinese person. They did nothing.
And absolutely nothing in place by way of trainings or meetings or anything?
Nothing. One side of the sheet was in Spanish, and the other side of the sheet was in Chinese, neither of which do we speak, then or now. So you had to sort of not make it up, but you had to glug it back and rub it on, as you heard earlier from the previous speaker.
Yeah, there was...
Judge it for ourselves. That's the only thing we could do. And we didn't know about the product range because we hadn't tried most of the products. And there was no information we could get. But I tell you what, you don't need a lot of information to know how you feel when you take aloe vera.
Yeah.
And you don't need to, you don't need to know anything technical when you shampoo. I had hair then, by the way. When you shampoo your hair, and it feels great, what do you need to know? It was just a fantastic product.
And there were no meetings, there were no trainings,
nothing.
No success.
He must have thought you were taking a huge gamble in some ways, because...
Well, we did in a way, Bob. We tried to find somebody who was successful.
Yeah.
And that was a big hunt. And then one day we heard that the company had a head office. So we said to this person who turned out to be the person who recruited us, we want to meet whoever this guy is who's running it. And he took us up to a fairly unprepossessing office block in Solihull.
Yeah.
And
We used to call it Smelly Oak, I think.
yeah. And I said to Jane, if that guy is 6'9" with tombstone teeth and like a sort of Billy Graham lookalike, I said, I'm out of the door and gone. I've done all that stuff. I don't want to do it again. And he turned out to be quite small, dark, and very quiet. And I thought, that's a novelty.
And this was Dusty Green.
This was Dusty Green.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing was, we prepared ourselves to throw every curve that we could think of.
No, wait a minute. John did.
Well, I did, yeah.
Mr. Skeptic.
Were you more open-minded?
I was a bit more open-minded.
Some would say more intelligent, but...
Yeah. No, sorry.
Anyway, he was very direct. Very, very direct. There was no hesitation, and the eye contact was fantastic, and the manner was very quiet and soft. And I said to him, Dusty, I said, what makes you think this can work over here? He said, well, look, he said, let me ask you a question. So I got on an aeroplane from a place where the sun never stopped shining to come to Birmingham, all right? Okay, he said, do you think, assuming I'm still sane, that I would do that if I didn't think it would work? And I said, but why? He said, because people are people. They all want to look better, they want to feel better, and they need some money jangling around in their pocket or their purse. And I thought, that's true. It's absolutely true. I did ask to see the returns box in the warehouse. I am a cynical old so-and-so. And there was a little cardboard box in the corner of the warehouse. And I said to the then warehouse manager, how many times a week do you empty this? And he looked at me completely blankly. He said, we've never emptied it. And there were about 3 products in the bottom of the box.
Yeah.
And I said to Jane, this works. Clearly people like the products.
I remember saying to Dusty, you know, you'd heard all about the marketing plan and what it can deliver, and you'd heard about the travel, and we hadn't heard about Chairman's Bonus because it wasn't...
Didn't exist
then. It wasn't part of the marketing model.
No.
And we talked about the cars and the trips and the pin levels. And I clearly remember saying to Dusty, well, if it's that good, show me someone that's making a lot of money with Forever in the UK.
Yeah.
And he very quietly said, Jane, there isn't anybody yet. He said, but there will be.
Yeah.
And I said, well, show me someone who's driving a brand new car paid for by Forever. He said, we've got a couple who are about to qualify, but they'll be the first ones. He said, but there'll be many more.
Wow.
And I remember saying, well, what about the trip to America?
Yeah.
Show me all the people that are going there. He said, we've just got our first couple qualify, but trust me, many, many more will. And there was this quiet intensity about this marketing model, this product range, this opportunity that he just genuinely
Unshakable
passed
belief
on to
really
us.
on his part, yeah.
And because there was no glitz and rah and sort of, as John always said, backslapping yank, there was just a quiet intensity and a belief in the opportunity. And we did our due diligence that day, asked all our questions, got home that night and we said, this is it. And so, you know, you've heard, many of you will have heard me say before, when we registered with Forever, we didn't register to give it a go. No. We registered to be successful. And it was as a result of having our questions answered, beginning to feel the belief that Dusty had at the time, because that's all there was, that we could do something with it. And we got our box, took it home, and thought, what do we do now? Because there was nothing. So we sat down and made a bit of a plan. John was working full time, didn't really see him. You were out at 7 in the morning till 7, 8 at night.
Running a business which was losing money.
You know, and
I just thought if I work harder and harder, it'll come right. Of course, it didn't.
and I was sort of lambing and horses, and we were absolutely, well, just before I met John, stony broke. And, you know, what do we do? So we literally took a flip chart and we wrote out the story of Forever on the flip chart. It was about 6 pages. And we decided on a Wednesday evening we'd have an open house.
Yeah.
And every Wednesday night we would invite people to come and look at Forever. And I will be very honest and say that 90% of people laughed at us, said it would never work. It was, you know, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Get a proper job, all that kind of stuff. But we stuck with it.
Yeah.
And one night, I remember 3 or 4 people coming, and there was a guy called Paul in the room. And he said, I haven't got a clue what you two are talking about, but you seem excited, so I'm in.
He was a manager, by the way, eventually.
And he's still with us today. But what was interesting is that he said it was our passion about what we were doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the very first person I ever spoke to joined.
Yeah.
I remember taking the box round, putting it on the kitchen table, and she said, is that aloe vera? I said, yep. She said, I'm in.
I'm in.
And I went home to John, I said,
This
this
is
is
easy.
a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Everybody's just, well, of course, the next 20, 30, 40 people all laughed at us or said it would never work. But I think that we just had this unshakable faith that we could do something with it.
Yeah.
And as I say, our first focus was 2009.
Obviously well-founded, because
Yes.
it happened.
Well, we use the phrase ignorance on fire a lot.
Yeah.
And it's true. We hadn't got a clue what we were doing.
But you were very
we were
excited.
determined to do a lot of it, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you don't know at the beginning, you can find out. That's the reality. And we did. We found out. And by hook or by crook, we found a way to be successful with what we're doing. And if you've got any intelligence about you, you dump the things that don't work and hang on to the things that do work.
Yeah.
But we were massively excited. Could not wait to get up in the
You've
morning.
kept that, though, to be fair. All the
Yeah.
time I've known you, you know, you're multimillionaires now, you don't need to work again, but you just, you know, excitement exudes from you.
You know, I'll tell you what really inspires us, and I probably speak for John as well. Yes, we are very fortunate and very grateful for the life that we have now. But I know there'll be people in this room sitting here for the first time this weekend that are as we were when we first started.
Absolutely.
Maybe hurting a little bit,
Yep.
maybe needing an opportunity, maybe have got ambition inside them, drive inside them, and they want to find a good home.
Yeah.
And in finding a good home, they want to have their role models and people they believe in. And I always say when you join this company is it will deliver everything, but you've got to go on a journey of self-development, self-belief, and you've got to learn as we did. Because it's never going to be easy, but it's always going to be worth it.
You guys have probably spent more time than any other business owners I know with Rex and with the family.
Yeah.
What's been your experience with the
It's a bit trite, but they are good people.
Yeah.
That's what they are. And, you know, I was an old, middle-aged cynic, so I looked under every rock and looked in every cupboard, and I thought it doesn't exist. They are too good to be true, but they are true. That's the whole point. And, I looked at Rex, and he was putting himself on the wreck. Even then, he was flying, he was in the air more than he was on the ground.
Yeah.
Meeting people, handshake, smile, eye contact, being interested in them, no matter how mighty they were in the business or how new they were. And I thought, he's on a sort of mission with all of this. He believes in this stuff. That's why he's got this incredible energy quotient that would bury most people. You know, he believes in what he's doing. And of course, Greg has inherited that.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's been part of that culture.
As
I
Adam
think,
said as well, incredible memories. I've seen you guys walk so often arm in arm with Rex when we've been in different
You know what,
cities
we
talking
kind
about
of,
stuff.
yeah, we go 25 years. I mean, the first time I met Rex, I was so in awe of him. I actually was lost for words. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to articulate my gratitude for him and his vision. And one of the things I will say is they're normal. You know, Rex is a billionaire.
Yeah.
But he is like we are. And we've been to their home, we've had dinner with them, we've travelled with them. I mean, I'm very close with their daughter, Sony.
Yeah.
And they're family, they're just a family. When you go to their home, of course, it's a lovely, beautiful, big home, but it's a family home and you feel it, and it's just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And when you meet Rex, when you see him on the stage or you have those moments with him, he wants to know what the family are doing, what the kids are doing, and what my dad's doing. And
genuinely so.
genuinely,
Just,
tell me about your travels.
Not
And
just because he thinks he should. You know?
no, it's
Two
genuine.
key things we learnt from Rex. One was to be genuinely interested in people,
Yeah.
not just pay lip service.
And he is.
Genuinely interested, and also when you've got him, you've got him. He's not looking over your shoulder to see who's coming in the room. He's totally engaged. Now, you may only have him for 15 seconds, but during those 15 seconds, you are locked into each other.
You're
And
engaged.
that's such a rare commodity.
Absolutely.
I remember going for lunch once over at the house, and he collects, as you know, first edition Louis Stevenson books.
Yeah, I've taken
And
him around many bookshops in London
Yes, you have.
when he's been
Yes,
over.
you have, yeah. And it's a big thing for him, and there's a big long story behind it. But I remember we were over for lunch, and he said, "I want to show you something." And he took us into his library, which is the size of most people's homes. And he was like a child.
He has the largest private collection, I believe.
Yes, he
Yeah,
has.
he does.
And he has a beautiful library, which is, and he took this book out, and just for a moment, he was transported into the beauty of the content of the book. And he wasn't Rex Morn.
Yeah.
He was just somebody who was passionate about, you know, his book collection and wanting to share it with us. And
I
just
don't know whether you
incredible.
recall when we did, I think it was the 2010 Global Rally, and we were all around the UK, and we
Yeah.
stopped at load. I had to ship back so many books afterwards for his
Yeah.
collection, and he did leave me a couple of them. I don't think they're rare ones, but in my office still I have.
Yeah.
So.
And Zane Grey is the other one.
Zane Grey,
That's
yeah.
right. That's incredible.
Yeah.
A Western writer, if you haven't come across his work.
I think what you pick up from Rex is his passion for life.
Yeah.
And the whole Morn family. And they never waste a minute
No, his energy
any
is incredible.
day.
Yeah.
Never waste a minute. You know, most people, if they've got a 4-hour wait for a flight, they'll just sit and waste 4 hours. But not Rex. What can I do? Who can I meet? Who can I talk to? Who can I influence? It's just incredible being around him.
He is amazing.
Such an
His ability
inspiration.
to connect, and as you said, his memories,
Yeah.
incredible.
And incredibly without ego.
Yeah.
You know, extraordinary moments. We were away on a trip, and we were somewhere exotic, and we suddenly see Rex. He said, "Could you come over here for a minute?" He said, "Could you take a picture of me?" And Jane and I look at each other, because he's had millions of pictures taken of him. And he said, "I never get a picture of me on my own." And he took a crash of it and a rope, typical Rex, puts it over his shoulder and poses to the camera.
Amazing.
And it was so childlike in its simplicity and its honesty.
I think he genuinely cares about people.
He does.
Yeah.
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 Genuinely.
About helping.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
And I think you just, because there's a man that has given so much of his life, then we feel a huge responsibility to continue that good work on.
Yeah.
And so it is about the money for everybody when they first join, of course it is, whether that be a couple of hundred a month or a couple of thousand a month. But once you've got the money covered and your home covered and everything's secure and you can breathe, then it's about a lot more than the money.
Helping others.
It really is. It's about how many people can you help.
Which you've done, of course, by helping very many people become successful business owners. But in addition to that, you have a strong commitment to your charity work, and
Yes,
there's stacks of good stuff in Africa that you've
Yeah,
done.
we
You
have
have to give back.
Yeah.
I don't mean to the government. You have to give back. That's the, you know, if you've been given so much by an opportunity and by actually one man, why wouldn't you want to give back?
Yeah.
What sort of person would you be if you knew how to do this stuff
And
and
you're
you
selfish
turned
with
your
this
back
country,
on that person who is absolutely crying out for help?
Yeah.
What sort of person would you be? Just say, well, get on with life. You know, I'm secure. You can go and
I'm
do your own
good,
thing.
yeah.
It just, you wouldn't be a human being.
And that's, I think, you know, you and I share the same passion, well, we all share the same passion about our industry and its ability to change people's lives, and phrases like ordinary people can do extraordinary things, which they can. Which then really frustrates me when you have sometimes journalists or non-educated people about our industry call it a cult or a pyramid scheme, you know, if only they took the time.
That hurts, actually.
Yeah. I
It
mean, how do you
genuinely
handle
hurts.
that? I mean, you must get that from prospects, from...
You know, I think one of the things that we have to all embrace, whether you're brand new in the room today or at our level, is we are educators and we are influencers. And there'll be many people that come into your lives that have an opinion about who we are and what we do.
Yeah.
And that opinion is very often based on their own findings and prejudices against our industry. And rather than get into conflict with them, which is what I used to do because I was so passionate about defending our industry, I've learned to take a step back and allow people to voice an opinion and then just correct them and educate them and influence them to open their mind to what this is and what it isn't. And I always say to people, I have no problem with you saying yes or no, but what I have a problem with is with you saying no before you've taken a look. Because how can you say no to something you've never looked at? And you don't genuinely know. Your perception is never your reality. So when people do knock what we do and, you know, maybe say it's a cult, it's this, that, and the other, I just say, give me 10 minutes. Just give me 10 minutes of your time and let me give you my view on it. And if at the end of it we don't match, that's fine. But at least listen and don't just take a bigoted view of who we are and what we do.
The perceptions are changing, but just...
Yes, they are. Yes,
and
most of the people who are asking those questions weren't even alive when the really nasty side of pyramid selling.
Before all the regulations, etc. came.
One of my favourite leaders, really, in a conversation when they say, "Is it a pyramid?" I say, "Why do you ask that?"
Yeah.
And they give you all these reasons, and you look them right in the eyes and you say, "No, we're nothing like that.
Yeah.
Let me explain what we are."
Yeah. So, what does the future hold for John and Jane now in Forever?
Well,
you achieved everything.
Yeah. Well, for me, you know, for me and John, I think it's just about working with good people and helping them to achieve their goals and dreams. And for me personally, I can't work with time wasters anymore. I'm going to be honest about that. You know, time is too valuable to work with people that waste your time. But John and I love finding that person who's got the same spark, the same drive, the same energy that we had, whether it be personally recruited or somebody in the team, or even somebody who's not in our team but needs a little bit of input. And it's just giving them the spark, giving them the information they need to say, we can be great too. So, of course, to carry on spreading the word of Forever. We're just building an extension on the house, which is, I can't believe it's so big, the two of us, but it's huge. We're just about to buy another property in France.
Nice.
The charity is well-rounded now and doing really, really well. So it's just a matter of doing more with good people and helping them. I can't tell you in the room how good it feels when you see your team standing up on the stage, delivering a presentation with confidence, with clarity, with vision, whether they've just achieved 4 case credits, whether they've just become a supervisor or a manager, or that whatever it is, the pride you feel is unbelievable. And that's what drives us.
And you hear that time and time again.
The other thing that's pretty unique about what we do, you know, in most businesses, I succeed because you fail. Or you succeed, the other way around.
Yeah.
And this is the first business I've ever come across where you can be genuinely pleased for other people.
Yeah.
Because actually, we all contribute to the same success. If they succeed, we succeed. Even if we're not linking to them in any way whatsoever, there is a link because we're members of Forever UK.
Yeah.
And therefore, you share in that pool of results. So you can be genuinely pleased. You don't have to do them down. You don't have to compete at an unhealthy level. And my previous experience of working in the city was I would succeed, and I was encouraged to succeed at the expense of other people.
Others, yeah.
You know, and I just wake up feeling good about what we do.
Yeah.
You know, and we're not perfect, a long way from it. We do our best, and that's all you seek to do every day. And the thing moves on. And you know, they say you get bad publicity, but as they say in North Africa, you know, the dogs may bark, but the caravan moves on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've heard all the barking, over the last 25 years, and we're still moving on, and we will continue to move on.
And you always have unselfishly given all of your knowledge and ideas to the UK business, and we see every country around the world wants to pinch what we have, and that's a measure of you, I think, as people and as of leaders. A few new people, lots of new people in the audience probably today. One final message for them about their opportunity for the future.
I would say that we're on the springboard of a new massive stage of growth. And if anybody ever says join at the beginning, that's a load of rubbish. You know, if an opportunity doesn't give you the opportunity, however long it's been in existence, then it's not a true opportunity. It's not time dated. You know, they're trying to sell you insurance on that basis. This is not time dated, and it is genuinely better. We have a more diverse group of people from more backgrounds, of different age groups, different ethnic groups, different religions, different everything. The only thing that is in common is the fact we're all different. And I've seen them old, I've seen them young, I've seen them fat, I've seen them thin, I've seen them black, I've seen them white, green with purple spots. You know, every possible combination you can think of, and there is no common. I wish there was.
Yeah.
I wish they had a nice little thing printed across their head saying, you know, I'm a future diamond. It doesn't work like that. The only thing you can do is to provide a safe pair of hands for them,
For everybody,
where you will never let them down, and let them sort themselves out. But as Jane said, don't waste your time with time wasters. You can't afford to do that, because while you're doing that, Bob, you're starving somebody who deserves
value it more.
Yes, and there are only 24 hours in the day.
Yeah.
I just think the best advice I can give anybody in the room right now is keep it simple.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it, and have some big goals and dreams, and don't let anybody steal them. And I think maybe it's a bit political, but I think if the world was run the way that Rex ran this company, we'd live in a pretty awesome, peaceful world.
Well, we're privileged to have you guys working here in the UK, and I really value your friendship. We've developed a great camaraderie between us over the years, and seen the business change beyond all recognition. We hope to do that for very many more years.
And I tell you, the next few years, it's going to be so exciting. Yeah.
Let's give it up for John Curtis and Jane Leach.